I start. I wanted to just say one moment. I want to share a moment on basically on environment. So I will say in Tamil. In திருக்குறள்ல ஒரு குறள் இருக்கு. சொல்லுதல் யார்க்கும் எளிய அறியவாம் சொல்லிய வண்ணம் செயல். What does it mean? In English, saying anything is easy. Following is toughest thing. And it is very clear, or it is very evident for in terms of environment, because saying to industries or saying to consumers or saying to MSMEs or saying to anyone is so easy, but doing or how we perform is what we see actually as an individual. If you just take me in my two-wheeler or a car, I'll have a bunch of bags basically for where I go for grocery purchase or any purchase. I have a bunch of bag, but certain people's demand, to the shopkeepers, I need bag. Why you are charging us extra? But there is a purpose of charging you extra for that bag, where even if it is a plastic bag or it's a cloth bag or it is whatever type of a bag it is, it's a bag. And it has created a lot of environmental investments or environmental impacts to the society, right? So I'll just start my presentation on circular economy in and for MSME. So before that, since morning we were speaking more about circular economy. So I'll just take you back to two types of economy we have. One is linear economy, another is recycling. Linear economy is so easy. It's like this. Linear economy is just take, make, dispose. That is linear economy. Just take, make, use, and dispose. Everything is single. We will not either we will not reuse, recycle, whatever. And over a period of time, the economy just boosts up to the recycling economy. And the recycling economy, yes, there is an advantage over linear economy, but there is a terminology called recycling. Like Madam said earlier, we were a lot of downcycling rather upcycling. We are downcycling those, recycling whatever we do, right? So that falls under reuse economy. And the one which we right now this morning we are speaking and we want the world to be in is circular economy. Circular economy is like it is just reuse and recycle. That's what the circular economy says. And very as in previous session in plastic, Madam said, we try to reuse a lot. This quote was bought during my marriage, right? I'm just reusing it. So I don't want to buy a new one, or I don't need it. It is not, I'm not going to wear this for a day to day, right? It's just for an occasions. So that's how we want to make ourselves as an individual be responsible on it. And coming to MSMEs, so MSME is the backbone of an Indian economy. So MSME, micro, small, medium enterprises is a backbone of an Indian economy, right? This is the second largest job providers in India after agriculture sector. And there are almost 90 million MSMEs are there in India as on date. And this has moved up. In 2018, it's just 50 million. Right now, we are in 100 million people. And it contributes to almost 30% of country's GDP. It is not so small. That is something very big. MSMEs are. And why MSMEs are so popular is like government has given lots of financial support, lots of booming up support. Many supports the Indian government is giving to MSMEs for them to boom up. And coming to the analysis as a circular economy, right? IPCC report says that recent IPCC report, IPCC is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report, says threatening of sea levels, increase of sea levels and precipitation, because we abnormally Chennai is so cold for even in February. Early morning we are seeing dew. It's all because of climate change. It is not Climate is so good, climate is so bad that February we are seeing dew, right? That's how we means this will what is going to happen as an individual. See, as an individual, over a period of time by 2050, we will lose, farming, fishing. Fishing is one of the things like Madam said, 2050 fishes will be more lesser than the plastic, right? So fishing industry will go off, farming will be tough, and ultimately GDP will get reduced, and as an individual we will be getting suffer. So that's how the circular economy is needed basically today in this world to make everything or everyone it is possible. And how do we focus on circular economy business model is that in production, to start up production, to see the sourcing of a raw material or sourcing of any types of material, how eco-friendly it is, how we do naturally produce that, or how it is renewable. So that's we, for example, using of an electrical vehicle is a green way of having, but charging that electrical vehicle is coming from a fossil fuel. So that's how we are not seeing circular economy. See, in 2016, e-waste management policy has boomed up. A lot of policies have got boomed up in 2016, and one of it is this e-waste management rule, and where the extended producer responsibility has been forced for the industries basically, and none of the consumer or the consumer appliances industry have come up to fix a timeline for their product. Actually, EPR is asking us to fix a timeline of product like a washing machine or a fridge, that after 10 years of the use, the customer has to come and bring it and give it back to the supplier. And LG or Samsung or everyone has, because restrictions. Till now in my home, my fridge is just running for more than 15 years. My mother will not allow me, or my wife will not allow me to throw it in a 10 years, right? That's how we that's the crux of Indian economy we right now we are into, and and the distribution is like as I said, just a minute. So the distribution and consumption is what we want to be very responsible. The consumption is like refuse it, just refuse it. What we are hearing from morning, just refuse it. If we don't need, we don't need. Around nowadays the apartments or the buildings are coming without labs. But the first question as a new customer or a construction industry, we are asking we need lab, because we want to store all the materials in the lab. And I'm sure that if in most of the households, minimum 30 to 40% of the materials what we are having, we are not using it, but we are just buying it and storing it in the lab. That's how the as an it's an individual, it's a practice has come, and we need to change that. That's okay. No problem. So how to adapt these in MS? So what helps circular economy as a MSME? See, as a MSME, I'm not coming from an MSME, I'm coming from an industry, large industry. See, large industries have more resources to be into circular economy. So nowadays, industry speaks on ESG, environmental, social, and government point of view to sell their product. Earlier, industries were speaking on ISO certifications. Right now, industries are speaking on sustainability, where ESG is main governing their product upgradation, a selling, a point to sell. So large industries have more resources, and they are but how about MSMEs? MSMEs are not like they are not like large industries. They've always wanted to be uh, it's like they need to invest, and they need to only just they have financial cracks. Even though government supports in many types of giving them opportunities to, or financing, government as financing, but still MSMEs will find difficulties. And the effective implementation of circular economies for MSME is Just a minute. Involve MSME as a key stakeholder for effective economic cooperation. One example I'll just quote here in Hyderabad, there was when I was working in Hyderabad, Dr. Reddy's. So there was an MSME who called us Banyan Nation. So they are the owner of the Banyan Nation. He has studied from America. He has an MS degree and he is a doctorate. And he came to Hyderabad. He wanted to do something good for the society, and he started and recycling plastic waste recycling. Simple. So what he did is he analyzed what type of plastic he gets, and to a surprise, in India we have n number of informal sectors who actually segregates the plastic at their source, or whatever the plastic we throw, we can see the rat pickers, the what we call gabadi bolas or the rat pickers we say. So they actually source the plastic, and he tied up with those informal sectors in Hyderabad, and he could able to segregate the exact type of plastic, right? Like Madam said, a single source of plastic, non-multi-layer plastics. Non-multi-layer plastics are high value added plastic compared to multi-layer plastic. And the vanillation industry tied up with the Tata Motors to make their bumpers with the recycled plastic, and they got an award in 2018 from World Economic Forum for that. And they also tied up with L'Oreal Plastics for the sample patent for the recycled plastic. So that's how, because why he was able to do this is he has more knowledge. He has been, because his background or the way he came, he has studied, right? He has done his master's degree, he has doctorate, he was into more digital. And when you see most of the MSMEs, almost 50 to 60% of the MSMEs don't have the digital access, they don't have the experience in what they need to do. They just go come, they always follow linear economy. I have invested, I need to buy material, I need to produce, I need to throw it out of my. So that's how MSME. So MSME needs a lot of training, hand holding, and industries like first of all, we tied up with many of the plastic waste recyclers, and we support them in terms of taking the plastics, and we always have that hand holding, and many of the large industries do the same. And uh, and to add up, we can also add nano MSME. We can add, like right now it is micro, small, medium industries. Industries, we want to have micro means nano industries also into it, because those are all informal sectors. If we bring those informal sectors into this MSME thing, right now the GDP of MSME is 30%, may go up to 50%, because there are a lot of informal sectors who are working for good. There are much bad in it, but they are working for the good without knowing what they are doing. Mainly on the e-waste. E-waste has a lot of precious metals, and we just throw it out. And the informal sector just break it, and they just recover some of the copper, and then they just throw it out. But it has a lot more to do. That's how the circular economy is meaning is mainly the digitalization is required. They need to come for there are a lot of there is an ISO certification is also for products manufactured with circular economies, in which we call it as ISO 14024. It is eco label, and 14025 it is environmental declaration. So those things have to come. The MSME has to be trained or promoted for those. So according to climate policy initiatives, Green Finance report, green finance is one of the major bodies in India where they finance MSME who come and do circular economy product. That they incorporate circular economy into their manufacturing facility. So in recent years, brought Indian government to a joint effort with civil society and non-governmental organizations launched ambitious programs to support achievement of system SDGs and Paris Agreement. So the policies and implementing or towards it's towards circular economy. Even in recent budget, it has been given more importance for MSMEs for a circular economy. Yes. So the country to be successful achieve these national determined contributions, the country needs almost 2.5 trillion US dollars until 2030, which is equivalent to almost 170 billion annually. This can be only done if MSME can join along with the large industries, because large industries contribution is not so high as MSME is. Next. During COP26 summit, there was five targets that India has just pronounced. One is non-fossil fuel energy capacity attaining 500 gigawatt by 2030, meeting 50% of its energy requirement by renewable, reducing the total projected carbon emissions by 1 million tons by now, and reducing carbon intensity, and by 2070 India to achieve net zero. Under this context, India has to and has to promote more investments into circular economy to have this targets to be achieved. And final slide just before. Mhm. Yeah. So MSME segment is one of the key players in transition towards sustainable future in India, which imposes the development of segment as critical. Mentoring, support mechanisms, and making a way easier for MSMEs. The policies right now are there are the policies are easier, but the approach needs to be so easy for the MSMEs to make it success. And finally, how First Solar is contributing towards circular economy is the solar panel which we produce is a photovoltaic thin film, and that is a cadmium telluride semiconductor is being coated in the, and the cadmium telluride we source the cadmium is a byproduct of zinc, and tellurium is a product of copper. We source the byproduct from a mining industry. We do the panel protection under single roof, unlike crystalline silica. Crystalline silica will take 4.5 days from start to end, because as everything has to come from different areas, whereas our production we do in just 4.5 hours. And the major advantage of our panel is 95% recyclable. Means after end of life of our panel, we make an agreement with the customers that we collect the end of life panel, or it is a damaged panel, we will collect it to our facility. We remove the semiconductor, we remove the glass, and we remove the plastic sheet, and we reuse the semiconductor back to our own process. We do a life cycle management for our product basically. So it was a very unique recycling of solar panel is first of its kind. First Solar has, and no other industries have this recycling. So with this, thank you for the time and hearing out on circular economy. Thank you.